Pushing off my sneakers to the ground. I do not jump, I move the earth down. Bear witness to the genius of my sound. Born at the bottom, but now I'm knocked down. Look, I'ma call it swagger. I slip through time zones like a cloak and dagger. Mad rubies on my chain. You can see your name bubbling, blood vein. Your girl's in my ear because she's sipping on my champagne. That's right, 6 figures in my back pocket. And that's right, 1 million in my safe deposit. That's right, I'm trill all day. On my way to.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Best Damn Clemson Show with Evan and Cole, where we cover the latest news in the sports world. I'm Evan Cooley, and today I'm joined by...
What's up, guys? It's Cole Gerard. Welcome back for another episode.
All right, everybody. So today we'll be diving into more college football. College football is going strong, and we are about a month into the season already, which is hard to believe. But today we'll discuss Clemson's statement win against their rival NC State from this past weekend, Clemson's game against ACC newcomer Stanford this weekend, who just picked up their first ACC win against Syracuse. And lastly, we'll get into our top matchups of the weekend and our picks for those games. All right, everybody. So Clemson is sitting at 2-1 heading into the weekend with a win over App State, a win in their first ACC game against NC State, and a loss to Georgia. But things seem to be trending in the right direction for this Clemson team. And Cole, what are your thoughts through the first 3 games of the season?
I mean, after this Georgia game, you're like, wow, this is a totally new team I'm watching offensively and defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a blowout win against Georgia. It was 34-3. Not much momentum through that game at all, other than the first half. I feel like it was a pretty good game. But, you know, two blowout wins.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row. I can't remember the last time Clemson put up – I mean, we put up 59 Saturday, but we can say 60 2 weeks in a row. I think that's the first time ever in program history to put up 60 back-to-back weeks. And just looking to see that this team is making history back-to-back weeks – Nobody says that we won, that we do that.
Yeah.
And especially Cade Klubnik's stats. I mean, I'm not going to say it yet, but Cade's going to start being on some boards here in a couple of weeks if he keeps on doing this.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun 2 weeks, and I expect us to keep rolling. And it's just so fun looking at the offense come together with the offensive line, getting their blocks down. The wide receivers and tight ends getting their blocks down. The screenplays are working.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the screenplays we were going for -5. Now we got Adam Randall and Troy Stellato laying down blocks.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah, and you mentioned Cade Klubnik. He's the first quarterback in college football history to post 2 straight games with a 99-plus QBR rating, so good for him. And obviously I think everyone would say that the offense was going to be improved this year. It was a little bit older, more experienced. Some new coaching came in with Matt Luke, but I don't think anyone would say that we would have this much success over our last 2 games offensively. It's been great to watch. And I mean, you look at this NC State team, right? And obviously they didn't have Grayson McCall, but defensively, Tennessee put up 51 on them. So we knew they weren't going to have a great defense. But Tennessee also, everyone's saying they have one of the top offenses in the country, which I think they do. They put up 51. We put up 59, and we pulled our starters in that game too. We could have put up more than that.
Right, for sure.
So
that's one thing I'm saying. And in 12 quarters of football, Cade's only played 8.
Yeah.
Now, just imagine if Cade played all 4 quarters the last 2 games. There's probably 80 to 90 points put up against App State, and there's probably 80 to 90 put up against NC State.
Yeah.
The thing is, we gave up 35 to NC State, but, I mean, to be fair, that was against our second, third string defensive guys. So I'm just – obviously, if we're going to keep having these blowout wins, I'll take them. But I want to see number 2 play a full 4 quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I think that defensively, I don't think that Dabo is going to be very happy with the way that the backups performed once the starters were pulled. And that game, score-wise, I mean, it was 59-35, I believe.
Yep.
But, I mean, that really doesn't even speak to how much of a blowout it was. That 35 points, I mean, watching that game, you watched the first half of that game with the starters in that game. 7 points. 7 points.
I do think, and I do think the starters were a little slow to begin with. I mean, obviously, our secondary is amazing. Our defense line is amazing. Our linebackers are amazing. But I do think we were a little slow on the defensive side Saturday. But I mean, you're not going to be perfect every game, and I'm not gonna keep thinking that our offense is gonna put up these kind of numbers every game. I mean, Clemson's not gonna go 24 for 26 for 350 yards every game. I mean, he can play good, and he's obviously not going to have if he has a QBR of 99 every game, I'll take it. But, you kind of got to face reality a little bit. But Evan's having some technical difficulties looking like. We'll give him just a second.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys.
Good. But, like I was saying, we kind of got to face a little bit of reality. And, if I expect the offense to keep performing, but at the highest level it is right now, I'm sure it's going to smooth out into a normal offensive game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, the defense, I was saying I wanted to see 4 full quarters from this defense, and obviously we didn't get to see the starters the whole way. But in that first half, they forced 2 fumbles, which is huge for both sides of the ball. You get off the field as a defense and you give the ball back to your offense with good field position. And the offense was able to take advantage of that. And I really like the way that the offense and defense are bouncing off of each other right now. I mean, there's not really much to critique. Obviously, you want, the second quarter, I would say, has been the biggest issue for the defense. And when you look at the last 2 games against App State, they gave up 13 in the second quarter. And then they gave up a quick touchdown at the beginning of the second quarter to NC State. But outside of that, I love the way that both sides of the ball are playing, and the special teams too. Special teams has been playing really well. Antonio Williams had a great punt return at the end of that first half to set up another field goal with about 30 seconds left, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, all around, it was good to see the offense literally click off where they left off.
Mm-hmm.
Click from where they left off. I mean, Kate Clonett breaking out for a 55-yard read option. I mean, who in their minds would think he was going to do that? I mean, I feel like every time he runs the read option or any kind of option play, it's like when he pulls it, he either trips up, slips, and he overall looks slow.
Mm-hmm.
He was moving.
Yeah.
So, it's just cool to see the progression in a year with Garrett Riley and not even half a year, literally half a year of Matt Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm loving the progression that we're seeing out of Cade Klubnik. And I really like that the offense as a whole is holding on to the ball. We're not being careless with it, turning it over, and giving the ball back to the defense or back to the offense with good field position.
Wait, so for 3 games, we only have, I guess with the first strings, we only have 1 turnover, correct? And that's the interception at Georgia?
And Antonio Williams had a fumble on a punt against App State.
That's right. That is right. But like offensively, yeah. So we're winning the turnover battle. That was a big thing last year. I think we lost the turnover battle every single game.
Yeah.
I mean, even Charleston Southern, we lost it. Trying to think. I mean, South Carolina, we won it. Or no, was it even? I know they had 2 turnovers. We had 1. So I mean, we only won it like two games last year. So it's good to see you're 3-0 in the turnover battle.
Yeah. And defensively, too, I like that. NC State, that first half was putting together some drives. They were getting into our side of the field or right around the 50. And then our defense was coming through and getting a stop and forcing them to punt, forced a missed field goal. And that's what you like to see from your defense. It's okay to bend a little bit. You just don't want to break and give up a touchdown or anything big at the end. So, and I really like that they were able to bounce back from some big. I mean, NC State had some explosive plays there in the first half, but our defense bounced back well.
Yeah, with the history of Dabo Sweeney and Dave Dorn, I don't think a lot of any Clemson fans like Dave Dorn. I mean, I've never been a obviously I don't like NC State either, but I've never been a huge hater of NC State. I've always liked to watch them play, but I've always hated Dave Doran. And I really did think Dabo was going to keep his starters in there and literally run the score up after what he said, all that crap last year. But obviously Dabo's when he's got too much respect for the game, too much respect for, the history and who came before Dave Doran at NC State. So I like that he's keeping it like that, but I just want to see a pissed off Dabo.
Yeah, I agree. And talking about, just want to give a little shout out to CJ Bailey for his first start.
Oh, for sure.
Didn't go the way it wanted to for him, but I think he definitely showed that he's got a future there for the Wolfpack and could be a threat for him.
That could be a QB battle here in a couple of weeks when the ball gets back rolling. This could be. You can't sit him out. I definitely think he played well. First start in Death Valley, that's pretty hard, and I do think he played well.
Yeah.
So, you can't keep him on the bench.
Yeah. And, it doesn't matter how good your offense is playing. If you're giving up 50 every week, you're not going to come away with the win in very many of those. So
that's one thing I saw, too. An NC State fan was like, we put up 35 in Death Valley and lost by 24.
Yeah.
You can't win games like that.
Definitely not. And I like, too, that the backups, the young guys, have been getting a lot of playing time early on this season because, hopefully we avoid injuries and there won't be any more. But the reality is there's going to be some. So it's good to get those young guys some playing experience in these type of games, especially an ACC game.
All right.
So, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Are you tired of scrolling endlessly to find the perfect deal?
Who said that?
Me.
Ah! Who are you? How did you get in my house?
Be not afraid. I'm the Frugal Fairy. See, at the Frugaling Shop, we bring the best deals to your doorstep, so you can spend less time searching and more time saving.
Yes, hello? There's a man with wings standing in my living room, and I'm scared.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. That's what Harbor Oasis became for me, a slice of home in Anderson, South Carolina. I stumbled upon this heartwarming marketplace. Roaming through aisles of handcrafted treasures and local art, I felt each piece whispering stories of passion and dedication. It's a place where warmth meets creativity. Join me in experiencing this magical oasis. Explore the beauty, attend soul-enriching workshops, and support local artisans. See for yourself how Harbor Oasis can become a part of your story too. Experience the joy today at Harbor Oasis, located at 5013 SC 24 in Anderson. Have you ever stumbled upon a flavor sensation that sweeps you off your feet? That's Waffle Drop. Nestled in the heart of Greenville, we've spun up the traditional bubble waffle, a thrilling mix of pancake and waffle into an art form. From the whimsical Lil Blue Panda to the decadent Ferrero Rocher ice cream, every bite is an adventure. Imagine savoring a bubble waffle wrapped around your favorite ice cream. Now stop imagining. Visit us at Hampton Station or our new location at 500 Congaree Road in Greenville, which is open during the week to embark on your own delightful journey. Buy now and feel the happiness we blend into every serving. Experience the joy today at Waffle Drop.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, and now let's dive in a little bit to this game, to Clemson's game this upcoming weekend against Stanford. It's another home game for Clemson. It'll be their third straight home game and their second ACC game. And they're hosting ACC newcomer Stanford, who's coming off of their first ACC win against a Syracuse team who's looked very good this season to begin. And they surprised a lot of people. Not a lot of people predicted that they would come out of there with the win, including me and Cole. But they found a way in a close 26-24 win. Cole, what are your initial thoughts heading into the game this weekend?
Looking at Stanford, offensively, I think they got a few good receivers. Like, I've been watching a couple of their receivers how they're performing, but looking on the defensive side, their secondary is not very good. And sneaking out of the dome with a win for your first ACC win is pretty tough, honestly. Syracuse, people look at Syracuse and they're like, "Oh, that's Syracuse, they're easy." It's hard to win at Syracuse. It really is. I've been there only one time, but it's very, 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 very loud in there.
Mhm.
And so just looking at Stanford and the matchup this week, Ashton Daniels, he's 59 for 96 for 562 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Not really good. Not bad performance, but he's not Cade Klubnik stats. That's what I finally like to brag about Cade Klubnik. But initially, I expect the offense to click right where they left off versus State. I expect it to be another win like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a tough game for Stanford. Obviously, this is their first real test in ACC play. And it's not easy for them coming on the road, traveling all the way from Stanford. And I'll say offensively, they're not going to light up the scoreboard. If they win this game, it's going to be because they force turnovers against us. And yeah, you look at Kyle McCord, he's had a great season so far, and then he heads into this game against Stanford, and he goes 2 for 2. He throws 2 touchdowns, but also throws 2 interceptions. And so I think the key for this game really is just holding onto the ball for Clemson, and if they can do that, then I don't think Stanford's offense will be able to keep pace with them.
Yeah, and like I was saying with Stanford's defense, with their secondary, Clemson's can throw the ball all down the field now. All in the middle of the field, deep routes. I expect us to take that to our advantage and use that and throw the ball. I saw Bryant Westco was a little shaken up, Dabo said, to the body, but he'd be okay. So, and I'm loving the Antonio Williams. I haven't seen this Antonio Williams since his freshman year. Obviously, he was hurt last year, so he was redshirted. He only played 4 games. So, I do expect. I think Stanford's going to give us a bigger battle than what NC State did. I really do believe that. Other than C.J. Bailey didn't play bad at all, but looking at the Stanford team, I just don't think they match up well with this Clemson hot offense or this top defense.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, we're pretty much on the same page, but I just think it's going to be a tough matchup for Stanford. And I don't know. It's surprising because everyone expected Syracuse to come out of there with a win. They were favored heading into that game and came off of a big win against Georgia Tech. But I like the way Clemson is going right now on both sides of the ball, and I don't see much of a bright spot for them.
Saturday or Friday at our show, I was like, Syracuse is gonna, they're in the dome. All this Kyle McCord hype, I think I can't remember who I said it to. I was like, they always start out. What were they, 4-0 or 3-0 in that game, right?
They were 2-0 heading into that game.
2-0 heading in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they do it every year. They'll either start out 6-0 and then they'll go 6-6, or they're gonna lose a bad game or losing to Stanford at home in their first ACC game. That's a bad loss for Syracuse.
That was a bad loss.
Very bad loss. So, and I knew all this Kyle McCord hype would eventually die down. That was. It's crazy that Cade Klubnik didn't get quarterback of the week on his own that week at ACC versus App State.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it would die down. So, but I really do think it's going to be a rough day for Stanford.
I do too. All right, guys, and when we get back from this short word from our sponsors, we'll dive into our picks from the top games this weekend.
Nick and Norman's is a brand new restaurant on the West End. Located at 1 Augusta Street, we are bringing unique Southern-inspired cuisine and a speakeasy vibe to Greenville. Created by an ownership group headlined by Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero, Nick and Norman's is more than just a restaurant. It's a destination for an unforgettable dining experience. Our hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Our phone number is 864-236-5446. We also have a private dining room, so call for booking. Be sure to follow us on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook.
They say a home is a safe haven, but what about when that safety is threatened? Last year, a storm hit our area hard, and suddenly the roof over my head, my family's shelter, was compromised. I felt vulnerable. But then Canopy Roofing stepped in. Their dedication, much like that of a caring family, restored more than just our roof. They restored our sense of security. If you're ever in need, let Canopy protect your haven too. Experience the same peace of mind. See for yourself how Canopy Roofing can safeguard your family's comfort and safety.
Have you ever bitten into a pizza and just known your taste buds were experiencing something totally unique? That was me at Crust and Craft in Greenville. Nestled right at 123 South Main Street, this isn't your average pizza joint. Their claim of "we do pizza differently" couldn't be truer. With creations like the Low Country Seafood Boil Pizza and exquisite $10 lunch specials, they're crafting flavors that defy the norm. Plus, the vibe? Unbeatable, especially with their new cocktail menu to sip on the patio. Head over to Crust and Craft Greenville, taste the difference for yourself. And seriously, do not miss out on their happy hour. Grab your slice of heaven today.
Ever find yourself needing custom gear that really stands out? At Carolina Printing Sports and Trophy in Hartsville, SC, we personalize everything from t-shirts to trophies, making sure your brand or team logo pops. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, or dazzling plaques, we've got you covered. Swing by today and let's create something unique just for you.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. And before we leave today, let's take a look at the top games this weekend. And Cole and I will give our picks. And you all feel free to comment in the chat below your picks for these games as well.
Yeah, so first up, we got Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. In this game, I'm a big fan – not a big fan, but I'm a little fan of Alan Bowman and Oklahoma State. So, in Kansas State, I feel like Avery Johnson – I feel like he's had a little bit of swagger last couple of weeks. Obviously not for that first loss, but I think this is going to be a really, really close game. But
I did too.
I'm going to take Oklahoma State. I'm going to say I'm going to go 28-35, 35-28 Oklahoma State. I really do think they pull away.
Okay. All right. I like it, but I'm going on the other side of things. I'm going Kansas State. They're coming off of a brutal loss to BYU. I think they're going to be angry off of that and looking for a rebound, and I'm taking Kansas State 27-24.
Okay. Next up, we got an ACC showdown, but not really. Notre Dame, versus Louisville. Louisville going to South Bend, Indiana. Looking to go 4-0. Notre Dame 3-1 on the season with a loss to NIU at home. I'm picking Louisville only because I want them to be undefeated when they come to Clemson, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Tyler Shaw, he's a senior there. You got a transfer from Duke, Riley Leonard. You got Bo Collins at wide receiver for Notre Dame. I'm going to take Louisville only because we know what their offense and defense can do. And seeing Notre Dame shaky these last couple of weeks and not winning these games by, having these close games as they have and losing to teams at home like that, I'm not even going to take Louisville just because I want them to be undefeated when they come to Clemson. I really do think they're capable of going into South Bend and winning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that pick. I'm also going with Louisville. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I trust Louisville's offense more than I trust Notre Dame's offense, and for that reason, I'm going with the Cardinals in that one. And they're off to a great start in the ACC ball too, or not ACC ball, but the season. They're ranked beside Miami. They're the second highest rated ACC team right now, and then Clemson's in third behind them. And so this is a big game for them. And I think the Cardinals are going to come away with it.
Yeah. So next we got the game of the week, college game day prime time, Alabama and the Georgia Bulldogs. So this is a hard one for me actually, and I'm not really set. I'm gonna pick a team, but I'm not really set on who's going to win that game because obviously we saw Clemson could hang with that Georgia offense in that first half, and they made the clicks that we didn't. We also didn't have the same offensive plan that we've had the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and we've also seen a shaky Alabama team play USF at home, and it took a fourth quarter battle to win that game. So Georgia's going into Tuscaloosa. The place is crazy and rocking. This is Kalen DeBoer's first year playing Georgia. You know, Nick Saban's gone.
Mhm.
Kirby Smart versus Kalen DeBoer, year one. It's going to be a tough matchup. I really do. And I think this Alabama defense matches up very, very well to this Georgia offense. But, you know, looking at Jalen Milroe and Carson Beck's stats together, they're not far apart. I mean, Carson Beck's 56 for 82 for 680 yards for 7 touchdowns. And then Jalen Milroe's at 35, 52, 590 yards and 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's kind of identical stats. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you know, I'm going Roll Tide in this matchup. I really do think they're going to be at home. It's going to be hard for Georgia going there. It's going to be loud. I mean, Georgia's capable of beating anybody in the country, obviously, but so is Alabama. I mean, this is the Tide we're talking about. I know Nick Saban's not behind the headset anymore. Jalen Milroe is going to be pumped up. I'm taking the Tide in a very close game. I'm going to go – I don't even think it's going to be as high scoring as people say. I think it's going to be like a 21-17 kind of game.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Georgia, and I'm taking them because Alabama kept Georgia out of the playoffs last year. Kirby Smart's not going to let anything like that happen again this season, and his team is going to go into Tuscaloosa looking to make a statement, looking to prove that they shouldn't be the second best team in the country, that they're the number one team in the country. And I think that they're going to go in there and prove how good they are. Obviously, they beat us pretty badly. And I think that this is going to be the game where people realize just how good UGA is compared to the other teams in the country. And I don't think it's close talent-wise. And I think Kirby Smart right now is the best coach in the country. And he's going to go into Tuscaloosa and find a way to come out with a close win.
Yeah, and I like the pick. I'm okay with picking against Georgia and losing if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Now we're going to Penn State and Illinois. This is a huge Big Ten matchup. Penn State ranked in the top 10. Illinois is in the top 25. They're at 19. Penn State's at number 9. I think this is going to be a blowout. I really do. This is at Penn State. You know, Drew Allar coming in this game. He kind of, you know, I don't think James Franklin is a crazy top coach, and a lot of people have him ranked in the top 8 of college football coaches, and I just don't agree with that at all. But I do think this Penn State team, I don't know if this can't be the whiteout game. No shot. I don't think so. But I know you're grinning. I feel like you're about to say something other than Penn State, but I'm picking Penn State in a blowout win. I really am. I'm going 38-10.
We're kind of going opposites today.
I don't see them losing at home like that at a 7:30 primetime matchup. This is their time to fight for their respect for the Big Ten and maybe push a playoff chance. But I don't see a playoff chance in Penn State at all. But this is their time to argue.
Heading into this season, I never would have thought that I would say that Illinois is going to be ranked first of all, or that Illinois was going to go into Penn State, one of the toughest places to play, and come away with a win. But with the way it's set up, I feel like these are the games that Penn State loses. It's just every year, these are the games that Penn State, for some reason, messes up their season with. And I think it's going to happen again this year. And I mean, I'm kind of on the Illinois train. It's weird because I feel like with Nebraska, when you're looking at the Big Ten, with Nebraska, everyone kind of saw it coming that they were making their return a little bit. And obviously they're coming off of a loss, but I don't know. I feel like Illinois is that surprise team this year that's gonna shock a lot of people. So I'm taking them in a close one.
You know, that's respectable. I mean, I love taking upsets as well, but I'm kind of have to face what my brain's telling me here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we're going to go to our game of the week. We've already talked about it a good bit. You know, Cade Klubnik and Stanford coming off their first ACC win ever at Syracuse. So, let's jump into I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
All right.
I think we may be leading towards the same thing as well, but
Yeah.
I'll let you talk.
So last time I checked, Clemson was favored by 21. And I think it's going to be a bad day out there for Stanford. And I think that Clemson's offense is going to have another great day. And I have Clemson coming away with a 42-13 win.
I like it. Is this finally – I just hope this is the week we finally see Cade Klubnik more than 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm. I think it will be. I think
Not
it will
saying that I hope Stanford puts points up, because it seems like that's going to have to be the reason he stays in.
Mhm.
But I'm leading right there with you, and I think the defense does play a full complete game. Just you got to be more, I think, productive. Staying with the offensive.
Mhm.
Don't be so slow. I feel like we were very slow Saturday, but I think that's quick. That's easy fixes. And I'd hate to be in that West Goodwin defensive room this week, because I know it's
Mhm.
that Nick Eason room. So I'm going at a 48-10 right here.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him put up a goose egg, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to do that in college football. We almost did it week 1, but
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a brutal day for Stanford.
Yeah. They were kind of on the same page with that one. And I'll give you my surprise of the week. I'm going to take South Alabama at LSU.
Okay. Let me just pull something up really quick. I'm not disagreeing with you, only because people are looking at the App State game from 2 weeks ago with them getting blown out at home by South Alabama to 48-14. They're like, oh man, the App State win's not looking too good now. But I mean, looking at South Alabama's schedule, they're 2-2. They lost 52-38 against North Texas, 27-20 against Ohio, and then
North Texas is good. North Texas is a good team.
They beat Arkansas on the road a couple years back. I mean, they put up 87 against Northwestern State 3 weeks ago, and then obviously they're coming off 2 high-scoring big wins. Louisville's they're only favored 21.5 at home against South Alabama. Are we taking an upset here?
Yeah, I'm not. Only issue I have with it is it's in the fake Death Valley.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see South Alabama go in there and pull off that upset.
And Brian Kelly, it seems like, and this isn't even a big game, but it's a 7:45 kickoff at home on the SEC network. Why not South Alabama? Why not go in there and beat LSU?
Exactly. And on that note, guys, it's going to be an exciting weekend of college football. And me and Cole will be right back here next Tuesday to talk about all the games, and especially that Clemson-Stanford game. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week.